looks like we're heading towards some kind of shutdown. Right now, it doesn't look like there's a path other than a continuing resolution, which could keep the government open for a week or 2 weeks that the House and Senate agree on. It's not clear that there's enough House Republicans to see that through, by the way. They'd have to pass 8 more separate appropriation bills by midnight on October 1st. That is not just like having a vote, by the way. So I don't know that that's as likely as potentially seeing a continuing resolution, though even that I would not bet on. It looks like we're heading towards some kind of shutdown. How long it lasts, that always kind of remains to be seen. Sometimes they happen on these weekends, and by Monday afternoon, the government's reopened, so technically it had no effect. Sometimes they last a week or two, and the trash starts piling up on Capitol Hill. Military pay doesn't go out. There are checks that don't get written. I do think this makes the country feel unstable.
But it's happened many times in our lives.
Many times, and there's usually short-term political consequences and not long-term.
Yeah, it's a scarier word.
We might be so far away from the next year election that it really doesn't impact it. I don't know that people are going to remember this if it's for 3 days or a week.
Yeah.
They're probably not going to remember that moment. Unless what they always warn you about is if, God forbid, something catastrophic happens in the middle of one of these, and you're going to, you're sending out people off to war, but you're not sending them a paycheck. Yeah. So they're going to go die for the country, put themselves in harm's way for the country. Of course, they've also zeroed out Ukraine funding. So you won't get your military pay, but the Ukraine military will.
Meaning that, to clarify, not that no funding is going to be made. All funding will still be processed. That's one of the exceptions to the rules, the exemptions.
I think this is just on spending in general. Then everybody's got kind of their pet project issues. Is it Ukraine funding? Is it border funding? Is it military funding? There was a legislation to pass to take the Secretary of Defense's pay down to $1 a year because he's not doing his job. They think he's focusing too much on diversity and equity and inclusion and not enough on actual protecting our country and building the military. So they've done that. The spending is out of control, and I have no issue with that. I think if you could actually get enough people elected to start cutting government spending, that's a good thing. And getting towards a balanced budget. I think the debt issue does hurt the country when you see the debt issues, when you look at the interest rate issues, all of it. I think where people freak out on this is not any disagreement with what you just said, Barbara, or what I just said about the government spending money it doesn't have, and really that's our money, and then our money becomes less valuable. Interest rates go up, the dollar is less valuable. I mean, that is, we see that time and time again through history. And we're kind of used to being a country where eventually the dollar comes back roaring and you kind of forget about it, you move on. But we're in a different time right now. I don't generally like these shutdowns. I think that politically they hurt the party who was responsible for them. You can always say, well, it's not really the Republicans, the Democrats don't want to vote for it. But again, if you're the party in charge, if you have the majority, even how slim it might be, you can't get the budget out of your House of Congress, and this time is the House of Representatives, you take the blame. I'm not a huge fan of them. I do understand the concerns about the spending out of control. But I think to get to the spending under control, you have to win elections. I think you have to deal in reality. The reality is we have a slim majority in the House. We didn't take back the Senate, and we lost the White House. Maybe we can change all of that in a year. It's possible. You have to get a lot of people, but I'm not sure if these are the way you get new people or that group of independent voters, which is smaller and smaller in the country, to actually come on your side and get out and cast a vote for you.